Why you are asked to regiment your prayer life, why you are asked to set into pattern your spiritual activities, it's not because you cannot take spiritual activities anytime. Your word study, your prayer, your fasting, your sacrifices, and every other spiritual activities. Why you are asked to regiment it or to set them as pattern is not because you cannot carry them out anytime. You can pray anytime, you can fast anytime, you can sacrifice anytime, you can study anytime. But why is it important that you set it as a pattern is because one of the main things that the fighting believers, they come as altar. So that they can be as altar. So that they can be as altar. Because the only altar that destroys altar is the only pattern that destroys pattern. And every pattern have the energy they invoke. They have power they invoke. You can't expect a lower altar or a lower pattern to displace a higher one. It's not possible. It's not possible. So you need to set it in a way because the human nature is even better for human nature to adapt to pattern. For the thing to become routine, it is easier for you to follow. Because if you are just undertaking spiritual activities anytime you want, you will not be committed to it. You're not committed to it. You look at our enemy kingdom, how they are committed. Whatever they ask to do, they do it with passion. That's why you can't afford to play with your time of study. That's why you cannot afford to play with the time, days of fasting or time of fasting. That's why you cannot afford to play with your time of prayer. You must set them as the pattern and set it as covenant. Call it the system, call it the structure, call it the principle, call it the pattern, whatever you call it, you must set it and follow it. That's what they call spiritual altar. That is, and each one provoke spirit. Those patterns, any pattern you set, any principle you set, any law you set, any program you set, any of the regimen, any of the activity you set as a pattern, embed a spirit in your soul. Because the more you undertake them, being consistent, they embed spirit. Call it engine. Each of them provoke spirit that will work with you. That is your spiritual altar. That's your power. The enemies, they have it. They have it. And they never fail. The time, that time that is dedicated, be it 1 hour, be it 2 hours, be it 3 hours, or whatever number of hours, whatever time you dedicate, never you play with that time. That's your spiritual altar. And you know what the altar is? That's why spirit and men interact. That's why you do your spiritual business, so that you can contend the enemy. Because they are coming from altar. You yourself, you launch your own attack through altar. If you don't do that, they will be winning you. But the victory belongs to you. Once you are committed, once you are committed to that pattern you set, the spiritual activity, the spiritual practices, the pattern you set, as you commit to it consistently, the more you build your energy, your spiritual energy, the fire that burns in your own altar, that's where you launch your own attack against your enemy kingdom. Are you hearing me? Receive that power in the name of Jesus.